Welcome back to Leadership with Louise. Today we're going to speak about a new term that I'm seeing about, which is called coffee badging. Coffee badging. So what exactly is coffee badging? It's a term that I'm seeing all over the shop. Me and a friend were talking about it the other day. And it's where team members show up at a physical workplace just long enough to establish their presence. So they'll swipe in their badge and then they'll grab a coffee, have a chat with a few team members, and then leave to work remotely for the rest of the day. And this is a trend that's emerged as a response to rigid return to office mandates. They're just clashing with team members' desire for flexibility. It's not what they signed up for, it's not what they want, or they don't see the point in going back into the office. They're literally going in as a tick box exercise to say, hey, I've done my day in the office, and then they're going home and being more productive there. When I first saw this, I was like, genius. And then it got me thinking about the actual problems that this is. If you've got team members who are doing this, there is something wrong with your hybrid policy. There is a bigger problem here, because what this is also going to do is lead to more problems down the road as well. These are the things that I predict are going to happen with this. So whilst people might think, look, they've turned up, I'm not going to say anything, they've come in, they've chatted, because seeing team members is still really, really important for like that social interaction. Some people need that more than others. Also, it's good to catch up with the team members, maybe that they hadn't seen for a while because they've been on different projects, share what they've been working on, all those different things. I'm 100% here for that. I'm 100% for people coming into the office and having a catch up and having a chat. Like, think about all those times when we used to work before the pandemic, for those of you who used to work in offices before the pandemic, making a cup of tea together with a couple of colleagues, you know, those water cooler conversations, all of those sorts of things we don't have as much anymore. So I'm definitely here for having a coffee and catching up with team members, 100%. But what it's also doing is, and these are some of the problems that I think are going to happen, is it's going to cause managers an issue, because other team members are going to see this as unfair. Because you'll have some team members, they'll arrange things like they've gone to the gym super early, they will have got pet care, childcare, caught an early train to avoid rush hour to get into the office. Then you'll have other team members who have come in at 10:30 because they've left later to avoid traffic, for example, grabbed a coffee, chat for an hour with other colleagues, team members about different pieces of work, personal life, all those different things. And who is wrong? There is no right or wrong here, because both people are doing what they think they should be doing. If you've not created any guidelines with your team on what in-office days look like, it's very hard to say who's right or wrong. And there isn't a right or wrong here. It's about what's right for the team and for you and the company and how you're going to achieve your goals as a team. So for example, if we take the person who came in later at 10:30, avoided the traffic, caught up with people, they're getting a lot out of that day. Maybe that's what they needed. Maybe they needed that social interaction. They've been actually really careful with their time as well, because they've managed to condense what would have been an hour and a half drive into a half-hour drive, and actually they're going to make the time up maybe at the end of the day to catch up on work. So they're just changing their work day because they understand how to prioritize maybe their time like that, and that works for them. However, you've got the other team member who came in really early and is sat at their desk working head down really hard because they're in the office and that's what they think they should be doing. There's a mix to be had here. You might bring people into the office to collectively work on a project together that just works better in person, or you've done it to do some team building, for example. There's a mix of these things that probably make up a better solution together. But unless you actually speak to the team about what's expected and what's not expected, it's going to be very hard for team members to understand what they should and shouldn't be doing around this. It's going to cause inequality and unfairness if it's not set either, because you'll have the people who are coming in at 9 o'clock doing a full day, for example. They'll resent the people who are coming in for a couple of hours, catching up with people, doing maybe a meeting on site and then going home and working remotely, because they're like, well, why are they doing that? That's unfair. But they might not feel confident enough to speak up about this either. But the people who are going back and working remotely don't see an issue with it because they're going home and they're working and they're being really productive. So it's just understanding how this is going to work for your team. Now, when I say this, this is really not about making sure people are in 9 till 5 bums on seats. This is not what it's about. I'm not a fan of that personally. I've always been an advocate for flexibility and measuring results and outcomes rather than people on seats or green lights on Slack statuses, for example. So please don't see it as that. So if you are seeing this as a manager, it probably means that something is wrong with your return to the office. It's worth having a chat with other managers, other leadership members, to see how they're coping with it, see what patterns they're identifying in their teams too. Ultimately, you need to make sure that there's some fairness across the board as well. If you've got one team doing this and another team doing that, that's going to cause inter-team problems as well. I'd love to know your thoughts on the topic. It's something I'm seeing more of recently, so please do share your comments below. If you're a new manager looking for more leadership and management insights and tips, head to leadershipoflouise.com, where you'll find access to my other resources, including my blog and my new manager course. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more management and leadership insights.